So what I want to do is today focus on how can we make sure without a doubt that your business doesn't fail, okay? And it's actually pretty easy, okay? The first thing that we need to kind of go over, and this is the number one reason businesses fail, is they have no growth plan. And the reason I want to talk about no growth plan, and people think, well, I mean, why does that mean I'm going to fail? Well, what happens every year? Inflation. Inflation happens every year. So as inflation happens, that effect is going to hurt your business's profitability, okay? Right now they say inflation is 3%. I hear this at every news study I see. But however, when I talk to business owners and I ask them, what is really inflation at? What is it really at right now? I get a lot of different numbers. Okay? I look at it for myself first. I want to explain something to you. I got a truck. I bought a 2012 Ford F-150 with four-wheel drive, leather, air-conditioned seats, all the options they had in 2012. This truck cost me $35,000. It's a crew cab, white, beautiful truck. I took it in last year and I wanted to trade it in. I said, look, I want to get a brand new, same truck, same options. How much is it? $65,000 to buy the same truck. And I said, holy cow, how is that if inflation's only at 3%? How is that even possible? And what I want you guys to understand is just because inflation, they say, is at 3%, it doesn't mean that that inflation for your business is at 3%. Because what does your business have? If your business has trucks, did the cost of those trucks only go up 3% to buy a new one? Or has it gone up more? If your business has rent, has the rent gone up? If your business has employees, have you had to pay your employees more than a 3% raise right now to retain good employees? You know, has it cost more for your accounting, for your insurance? How much is your true cost to inflation? I ask business owners this all the time, and I say, come up with a number that no matter what happens, you can't miss. And I hear these two numbers out of them, between 10 and 15%. Just so they can keep their profitability at the same level, just to keep up with the expense growth, it's between 10 and 15%. So I say, as a business owner, make sure you have a plan to grow your business at least 15% growth, so that no matter what happens with your business, you're still around. Inflation will not put you out of business. You do not ever want to go out of business because of inflation. Can you imagine being in a business right now in the best economic times ever and literally going out of business because of inflation was at 15% for your industry, and you still had revenue growth, but you were in a low profit margin business, maybe for instance, maybe you're in manufacturing, and the cost of your goods went up and it put you out of business? How embarrassing would that be to go out of business right now in the best economic times ever? So you have to have a growth plan. And that growth plan needs to be at less 15%. So I want to simplify this because nobody wants to do any math or anything like this. Here's the thing. Where your business is at right now, in 5 years from now, it needs to double. And that keeps you up with a 15% growth plan. There's a real simple math equation for it. It's called the rule of 72. You take 72 and you divide it by the interest rate, and that's going to tell you how long it takes for your money to double. Okay, so that's how we come up with it. 72 divided by 15 comes to like 4.85 years. So that's what I want every business owner to say, no matter what. Your plan for growth is every 5 years you're going to double the size of your revenue. If you do that, then you'll be fine, okay? And I know a lot of business owners say, how am I going to grow my growth by 15%? I say, you'll find a way. As soon as it becomes a priority for you and it becomes a necessity for you and you communicate that to everybody and you think about that, you'll find a way. Everybody does. Look at all the businesses that started in a garage and grew to multi-billion-dollar companies. They did it because they found a way. So, but first thing is we have to make sure that we have a growth method. We have to have that as one of our plans, okay? The second plan is, we talked about this, a plan for bad times. Every 5 to 8 years, what happens? We get a recession, okay? And for some businesses, this can be horrible. For other businesses, this can be terrible, but maybe not be as horrible. For some businesses, this can be the end of the world for them, okay? What you need to do no matter what is have a plan for recession. To have a plan that if something bad does happen, you have a strategy to get around it, okay? So, I'm gonna just kind of give you an example. A lot of businesses come to me and I say, what is your plan? Because I talk to thousands of businesses a year. Okay, I'm very actively involved with it. We help businesses here. We do so much work for them. But I want to get inside the business and figure out what are these plans they have. And a lot of businesses have no plan, and it scares the hell out of me. Okay, but some businesses will have a plan. And here's the plan I heard of one business. Their plan is they take 10% of every dollar in revenue and they put it aside to a savings account. And I said, that's great. That 10% is great. Now, when I asked them about this, I said, look, here's the thing. You're saving enough money, so you have enough money set up. After 8 years of saving 10%, you could theoretically go almost 80% of a year. If you think about it, because you'll have the same revenue without affecting your profit margins. Because you'll save 10% a year. So it comes to about 8 months of operating. But I asked the guy the question, I said, look, if everything went to hell tomorrow, and your only plan was to use your savings that you've saved, your hard-earned money that you've saved. These savings are your savings. I know they're in the business, but they're still your savings. You took these hard-earned savings, and you're going to invest these hard-earned savings when times look really bad and pump them back into your business while it's not making any revenue. I said, you're going to have the balls to do that. You're going to be able to stand true to that mission and do it for 8 months with no revenue coming in. And he looked me back in the eye and he said, well, I never thought about it like that. And I said, he goes, I probably wouldn't. I said, okay, so then your plan is a good plan for yourself. It's a good plan for you personally. Save money and put money aside. It's a great plan for you individually. It's not a great plan for the business because you're going to say, okay, I want to save myself. I know the company's important, but at the end of the day, who's first? It's you, then the company. And we're not going to do things that don't make sense. So I said, you need a better plan for what to do in bad times. And he asked me, he said, what's a good plan for bad times? I said, you're looking at it. I said, the federal government is the only entity I know that spends exponentially more dollars in bad times. But I want to explain one other thing to him. And it's not even about them spending any more money. It's about having something to do when times get slow. Because a lot of times the government waits a long time before they tell us we're in a recession. But what happens right away in your business is you'll start feeling the sales slow. So you need to have a plan in place that as soon as the sales slow, you can start coming back with additional responses. So what we do with this plan, by having a plan to work with the government, is you have a strategy. Every week, whether you're busy or not, you have opportunities come right to your email box. So now if you're busy, you don't open them. But if you're a little slow, what do? You open those opportunities. And the other thing that's great is as the economy slows and the government wants to continually support the economy, what are they going to do? They're going to put out some more opportunities. And you'll be in position with your registrations and everything in place so you can bid on those right away. So you can jump into that. So instead of it taking you 3 to 6 months of no revenue or lost revenue or some lost opportunity, you're immediately picking up that lost market share before anybody else is even thinking about going into the federal sector. So now you're jumping. You're landing 2, 3, 5-year contracts that are going to propel you not only just through this recession, but through the other part, through after the economy gets better. And it's going to allow you to do some different things that nobody else can do or nobody else even thinks of. So just having a plan for bad times. It doesn't necessarily have to be working with the federal government. I think every business should at least pursue it and really, really consider it because of just how they purchase. It's just such a great insurance policy, and the fact that you can always have opportunity come to your email that if you need it, it's there for you. It makes a lot of sense. The last reason, and this just scares me, but it's lack of leadership, lack of vision mostly. Most of the clients that I work with just don't have a true vision. They don't know where they want to take the business. And that's something that really needs to happen because you can have the greatest assets ever in your team, but if you don't tell them what you want to do, they'll never get it done. You can't just assume, hey, we're going to grow as much as we can. That's not good. You have to tell them, this is where we want to grow, this is where we want to go, this is what we want to do, this is our mission, this is our plan. When you start communicating things with that kind of clarity to your team, that's when you get where you want to go. And unfortunately, a lot of businesses become stagnant. I talk to them, they've been in business 15, 20 years, they've been doing the same things over and over again. Maybe it's a multi-generational business, it's their father's or their grandfather's business, and it's got a history. They're not passionate about it. They need to find some passion, they need to find some vision for it. And a lot of times when we bring a client on board and we start working with them, we center them on the federal sector, we get them to look at their competition, we get them to look at their industry, we get them to reset their goals, we educate them on what successful vendors are doing in their industry, what is competitive growth rates for other competitors that they're competing against, what's possible out there. And we start talking about it, and before you know it, they've got clarity, they've got vision. And what they're able to do when they have clarity and they have vision is unbelievable. There's no stopping these businesses when they get that kind of intensity. And that's really what I love. But what I want to send you guys home with, no matter what you do, is businesses fail not because of the economy. They fail because there's no plan when times get bad. They assume it will never happen. And what you're doing right now by just watching this video is you're saying, look, I understand that the road ahead is going to include a recession. And I'm going to have a plan for that. And once you said that, you're fine. You'll be around because look at how many businesses stay around after the recession. And normally the ones that stay around after the recession are 5, 6, 10 times larger when they get out of the recession. It's crazy. So I want to thank you for your time today. If you guys want to learn any more about what we do, there's going to be a link at the bottom. Click on it, reach out, have a consultation. It's totally free of charge. You can talk to somebody, they'll analyze your market, they'll kind of explain some of these opportunities and how it will work, and you can really get a better idea of if this is a viable opportunity for your business. But I know this for sure, it's worth looking into.